Hi, welcome to Art Studio for Children. Today we will be making model magic sculptures on grass.
All right, guys, so what is it we're going to do today on this lovely piece of grass?
Make sculptures of ourselves.
Perfect. What are we going to use? What is the medium we're going to use today, Henry? What are we going to use to make sculptures?
The clay stuff.
That's right. Do you remember the name we call it? Model Magic. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start with a flesh tone. So depending on who you are and what your flesh color is, we need to mix some colors. For the two of you, what colors from our Model Magic should we be using?
Brown, pink, and white.
All right. Is that the order that we should use them in? What's the predominant color?
White, pink, and then add a little bit of brown.
Excellent. There's some white. Now can you show our friends who are watching the art kit video how we mix our clay to do our very best job? And we just add tinges, right guys?
Yeah.
Not very much. So how do we do it? We pull it apart, put it together. Pull it apart, put it together. Until it starts to feel like it's warmed up. And we don't want to be marble. We don't want to look like marble, do we? So we need to make sure we get a solid color. Sometimes you want to have a marble color, but in this case, we want to mix it until it's a solid color. So this is looking gorgeous. All right, let's keep going.
Warmed up and ready.
Is it mixed? Is
Yep.
it a solid color? All right, I want you to roll it into a ball. Once it's a solid color, roll it into a ball, and I want you to tear off a piece about the size of a Timbit, because we are going to start with
Head.
our head. Now, what is our technique for getting it round like a sphere? What do we use? We've got a few techniques. What do we use in this case?
You could roll like slightly, not use too much pressure, but just lightly roll it in between your palms.
Excellent. If we add too much pressure, what happens, Hens?
And it slaps down like a pancake.
Sometimes we need a pancake with Model Magic, and we'd use that technique. But for our head, no thank you.
Sphere.
We need a sphere. We're going to put our head at the top in front of our workspace. We always like to keep our workspace nice and clean. And the reason we put it up here, Finn, do you know why? Why would we put it up there?
So we can see what we've made?
Right. And we're going to see if all the pieces work. So that's your head, and your reserve can go over there. So this is our reserve clay, and this is our head. Wow, I think we've got three really smart heads. What comes next? Okay, so the head's connected to the
Neck.
excellent. We're going to tear off a little piece about the size of a Smartie.
Smarty size. Okay.
Just the size of a Smartie. So how are we gonna do a neck? Is it a perfect circle, Henry?
No.
It's sort of a tube, right?
So we can make a sphere and then just kind of lightly press on it?
Lightly snake it, right?
Yeah.
So sphere with a light snake at the end gives us a shape that almost looks like a vitamin or something like that. Now I'm going to place it where I would put it if
Like
I
a
was
jelly
putting a
bean.
neck on there, like a jelly bean. We're getting hungry.
Small jelly.
Exactly.
Like this?
Now we place it underneath the head, but we don't attach it because we want to check that magic word as we go along, proportion. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to choose our clothing color. So what color are you going to be wearing, Henry?
I think maybe blue and yellow.
So I'm going to give you a nice amount of blue, and you're going to roll that into a ball and get it nice and warm. Pull it apart, tear it, put it back together, and color for your top, Finley.
Somewhere like purple?
Purple's great. Finley, how do we make purple at Art Studio?
Blue?
And?
Blue and red. Red?
Oh, Thank you, Henry. So we will mix together blue and red and come up with purple. Excellent. We've got our colors. Purple shirt, yellow shirt. We need to make our shirts. So what we're going to do is we're going to tear off a little bit of clay about the size of 2 Timbits, let's say. About the size of a Timbit and a half, let's say. So roll it into a ball. Now that we have it in a ball, we're going to just do a little bit of snaking at the end because our bodies are not round like our heads, right?
No,
unless we have a big old tummy.
They're like almost like...
It's more like we need to do the same kind of
like
shape that we used for the neck.
Like this?
Which is a circle and then a bit of a snake, honey.
This?
You can play with it. This is just one kind of technique. So
Like
I've got my body.
this?
Excellent. Plop it right there. Then we're going to take about the size of 2 Smarties for our sleeves. So get your color. You're going to roll it into a ball and you're going to snake it ever so gently, until it's about that long. Snake it until it's a nice snake. Snaky, snaky. Don't press too, you don't want to press too hard because then you'll flatten it. Gorgeous. Split it in half and those are your short sleeves. They go up at the top of the body.
There?
Because right close to the shoulders, but you're right, big girl. We don't attach them. That's great. Back to our reserve of clay and roll a nice piece about the size of a Timbit, a little bit less than a Timbit. Roll it into a ball and then you're going to snake it.
Balls and snake. I wonder what this could be.
I wonder. We're onto the limbs, aren't we? I split this in half and I put it after the t-shirt sleeves. Roll it out. It has to be pretty long. All right, next thing, shorts or pants. What would you like? And what color?
Shorts.
Blue shorts. Okay, there's some blue for you. You're gonna warm that up, bud. Of course, if we want it to be a lighter blue, what would we add?
White.
White. Once you have your clay, now we need legs. So we're gonna go back to our flesh reserve and we're gonna grab a nice amount of clay. We won't need the whole thing. We're going to snake it. Now this is a bigger piece. Why is this a bigger piece? My arms are smaller than my legs. They're smaller and shorter. So we needed more clay, didn't we? Let's say it again. My arms are
Shorter than my legs.
and they're also thinner. So I need these to be a little bigger, a little stronger. All right? Looking great, guys.
Remember, thinner, not too hard.
Nope, we don't want them to be too scrawny. We need to be able to run on them. Okay, shoes. Shoes, bud. What color shoes?
Red.
Okay.
Green is my favorite color.
Excellent. So green shoes would be good. Can you warm that up, bud?
Oh, yes.
And now we're going to split it in two sort of equal pieces. Okay? Doesn't have to be perfect. Yeah, we're not worried too much. Just have some fun with it. And you're going to pick up one of the pieces and roll it into a ball. Now you want to think about what kind of shoes you have. Are you wearing flip-flops? Are you wearing boots? Are you wearing running shoes?
I think I'm not that way.
All right.
So it'll be like pointing to Howard.
Okay, perfect. All right, so Henry, you talked about wanting some stripes on your t-shirt, right, bud? So I think if you're going to put stripes on, you need to do very tiny snakes, I would say, and kind of wrap them around your t-shirt. So can you show all of our friends watching right now how we do tiny snakes? you also have stars on your shirt that you're wearing. Now, we don't have to do the shirt you're wearing, but would you like any detail on your shirt?
Yeah.
Would you like to choose a color?
Maybe little pink.
Stars or heart or polka dots or whatever.
Polka dots.
Polka dots is really fun. So you're going to take little tiny pieces, darling, and you're going to roll them into balls, and then you're going to smush them. Remember we talked about not doing pancakes before? You're going to do pancakes now. But when you smush those pancakes, you don't want to smush the body. You got to be careful, right? You might want to smush the pancake first and then add. Oh, I like those polka dots. So I think random would be a good word to use for our polka dots, huh? So Finley, in your words, how are you making those polka dots? Could you tell our friends?
Kind of making a very small circle out of them.
Right.
And then not really snaking them, just kind of giving them a little pinch.
Okay, Henry, let's move on to the next important thing in our sculpture. What are we going to do next?
Hair?
Hair would be great. So Henry needs what color for his hair?
The hair is a bit blonde, but the best for blonde I think is maybe yellow.
Excellent. Henry, is your hair perfectly straight and shaved really short?
No.
No. So
It's curly.
It's
Long
curly.
and
So
curly.
we want to show the group that. And my other pal,
Kind of wavy.
Finley, she can make a color out of these two.
Yeah.
A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Henry, could you tell the camera and our friends at home how you're going to do the hair?
I'm going to put a yellow and put a bit of curls and stuff.
So you're kind of having fun with that, aren't you?
Like maybe
Excellent.
nice and straight and stuff
Excellent. Can you show us where you'd put that on your head?
on top. And
Okay.
that's
And you're not going to actually press it completely in, just a little bit in, because we want it to stick up. Can you keep going and show us those hand snakes that we call them? Henry, what are you working on now, bud?
fingers.
Okay, so you did the palm of the hand first. How did you do that?
You just get this color, and then you roll it into teeny wing ball, and then you try to get a bit of some small thing and roll it into tiny snakes, and then put it on.
Wow. Nice job. Continue. That's fabulous. Love it. One thing we need to think about too is we've given you in your kit a couple of eyes. So we're going to use a hot glue gun to attach the eyes, but you can put them into place. And then how are we going to do our mouth, Henry? I know you'll remember this.
You're going to do a tiny bit of red from that and get it into a teeny like this. Roll.
Make a little tiny snake. How do we do our snake, hun? What's the other way we learned? We put our hand down.
Fist?
Just on our fist, and that's it. And we measure it first and we think, okay, we don't want to look like a clown, so we don't want that mouth to be too big. Usually, it's bigger than we need it to be, because this person's not very big. He's not real life. So Henry's chosen to do a smile on his. How would we do a surprise face? Well, that's interesting too. If you wanted to do a surprise mouth, you would take your hand snake, your long snake, and you can make it into a nice O. If you want, you can collapse it and make it look like a smirk. You can have a lot of fun, but you've got to have a lot of patience. A lot of patience for this. So Finn, that could be your mouth, or you could make your own, honey. Whatever you think.
I'm gonna make my own.
Go for it, darling. So as you're assembling your person really carefully, Henry, and that looks gorgeous, you want to think about the position you're going to be on the grass. Now, I'm going to warn all of you that Model Magic is not very strong. And when it's wet, which it is today, it's really not strong. So it's going to be pretty much impossible for you to make your person standing up on this grass. So what we might want to think of is lying down, sitting up.
I'm gonna do lying down.
Lying down's great.
I'm gonna do lying down.
If you really want to do yourself standing up, you could put a structure here that you make out of popsicle sticks, or you could get a little pretend tree. Oh, Henry, that looks fantastic. Henry, I'm gonna get you to pick up your guy really carefully. I'm gonna help you because he's still very wet. Tomorrow he's gonna be dry. He will air dry. Can you help me? Don't worry about him because we can always put him back together. And of course, with our glue gun, you want him lying down like this?
Yeah.
Is he watching the clouds or something? What's he doing today?
Yeah.
Now you want to think about whether his legs are crossed, whether his arms are on his chest, whether his arm is up here.
I think
because he's looking at the clouds?
I think I like it if it would be on his tummy.
Okay, I want you to do that really gently, okay? Because you're the artist here. He looks really good. Okay, are we ready for Finn to join her brother on the grass? So Finley, how are you going to be joining your brother on the grass?
Sitting.
Sitting? Okay, do you need a hand lifting that up?
Yes, please.
All right. You can have your hands here.
Yeah, I like
You can have another thing that's kind of cool. I'm just going to show our friends who are watching. This is kind of, you know how sometimes whoopsie, I want to be careful here. You can lean back on your arm, one arm back. You want to make it interesting. So you show me what you think. Oh.
Sorry.
So this is when you can kind of play with your miniature, but you've got to be so gentle because it's still sticky and it's still wet.
Yeah, like that. Maybe we should pour it on the side.
All right, and just to show our friends, we could do this.
Yeah.
But we don't have to, but we could. So Finn, if you want to manipulate the legs at all, you certainly could. So, what do we think of our sculpture?
Yay! Yeah.
Finley and Henry on the grass.
Besides, soon we're gonna have fake grass in our backyard. The reason I liked it is because everybody was like different. The reason I enjoyed the project was the fact that we didn't just stick with our original idea. We experimented and eventually we ended up with the idea that we wanted. Mom just arrived.
She's perfect. We finished.